Well, here we have the food forest after 2 years of development, and the main goal here was to protect the soil and create a green ground cover. Since this soil was all exposed to the sun and the ultraviolet rays, the first idea was to protect the soil and to create organic matter. One of the plants I've used a lot is the banana. It's a very good plant since we have that water tank, 30,000 liter tank to irrigate this area. I've added more tropical and subtropical plants here to the top, like the canna and the banana. And you can see that all the soil is covered now. We have some clovers, sweet potato, yam, physalis, and this is how it looks like now. Here we have a monarch, the monarch butterfly. It's a butterfly that came from Mexico, crossed the Atlantic and established here on the Portuguese coast. And because I have this plant here, that is the only plant that the monarch can use to feed their larvae. So because I have this plant here, the butterfly was able to establish. It's amazing the impact that we can have, creating the right conditions for the animals to establish. So the food forest is made of rows of trees. This is the first one here. We have apricot, plum, pear, fig, banana. And the trick is to keep the right distance so that they all get enough sunlight. The plan here was to keep the trees really small so that we could pick the fruits more easily. This is a structure for the birds to sit on, and at the same time they fertilize the ground. And also I created a ground cover with pumpkins so that it's productive and at the same time a protection. We have stevia. We have canna indica planted on contour. Many flowers to attract the insects. Also a yucca. And the soil all covered with straw. And the priority here is to use perennial plants so that they can reproduce themselves in plants that self-seed. A lot of sweet potato. And these are perennial grasses that have developed, and they represent the succession from an arid landscape to a more pasture landscape. These plants, they get can get to 2 meter deep roots, so we are improving the soil at 2 meters deep. Here we have more clovers. And as you can see here, the ground cover created by the pumpkins, so it's productive. And the pumpkins, they don't have much requirements, and they produce a large amount of food. Here we have tupinambo. I've also made a lot of grafting. So we have here two old varieties of plums. I've grafted here at the top. You can see the grafting here. Here it is. And you can see it was done with the old technique, with the string. And this one was just made with a tape measure. With this kind of tape here. So it's a lot better than the old one. The one made with the string. It's starting to look like a forest. And here we have the one that I consider probably the best leguminous ground cover that we can use, luzerne, alfalfa. It's an amazing plant. Cabbages, also some corn. This is willow made of cuttings. I just get the cuttings and put them in the ground and they develop. Also an apple tree, here with a grafting of a pear. And there are different varieties of apples also grafted, different varieties of pears, so that this area can operate as a genetic bank of trees, so that then we can graft in other trees of the farm. Here we have a shushu. It's also an amazing plant. One of these plants can produce 50 kilos of a very good fruit that you can use as a substitute for potatoes. Here we have the shushu, and it's using the wild olive to grow on, to climb on top. Here we have an arasa. This is its fruit. And here the old orange trees. These were the only trees that were here when I arrived. But also recovering. This orchard was abandoned 2 years ago. And now it's a lot more alive. Start really to look like a forest.